Hello and welcome. If you're a high performer who's successful on paper, but quietly feels like your energy, resilience, or edge isn't where it should be, this conversation is for you. Today, I'm sitting down with my friend Olivier Lepin. Olivier is an endurance athlete, a business builder, and someone who's been living inside the health and performance world for a very long time. Not from theory, but from personal experimentation and real world pressure. Both of us come from competitive athletic backgrounds. We've trained hard, broken things, rebuilt, questioned dogma, and gone through multiple phases of what we thought being healthy meant. And what you'll hear today is not a highlight reel. It's how our thinking has evolved as the stakes got higher. This is a conversation about training history, what actually holds up over decades, how we train and recover now, why mitochondrial health matters more than most people realize, and why the mainstream healthcare model keeps failing high performers who look fine but don't feel it. No hype, nothing extreme about this, just two guys who care deeply about building bodies that support long-term output, clarity, and authority inside business, sport, and life. Let's get into it. Monsieur Olivier Lepin. How we doing, bro?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. It's good to be here. We're finally doing this podcast we've been talking about for too long.
Too long, man. No kidding. Bro, Olivier is someone that I know growing up, both in the Montreal hockey circuit. Why don't we get started by you kind of walking me through your early training years, sports, schools, and how overall competition kind of shaped your idea of effort.
Yeah, that's a really good question to start off. I expected nothing less. Yeah, so growing up, hockey was something that I did just for fun, really. I started at 7 years old, and there was no such thing as training, really. I was just playing hockey, and that's how I got fitter. And nutrition was kind of out of the picture. I didn't really care about it. Like, just to give you an idea, my breakfast was Eggos with a thick layer of margarine and then another thick layer of Nutella. And then maybe
Oh,
on a
damn.
good day, I would sprinkle some bananas on there.
On a good day.
That was the healthy part, yeah. But yeah, so really, I up until man, I kept that formula up until I started playing at a high level, and then at some point it caught up to me, and then I started realizing, okay, like I gotta take this more serious. And for me, like what was the biggest learning curve is that training is a marathon, not a sprint. Like to me, training was just like every time you're in the gym, like you got to give it your all. And that's what you hear, all the time. Like,
Mm-hmm.
or that's what I heard back then. And so I'd go and do that and push myself, and I'd burn out. And I was wondering why I was like tired all the time and wasn't sleeping well. And then despite that, like I started eating well, so because I thought that was the issue, but then I was still burning out. So what the hell? So over time, like there's a lot of learning curves, but I learned to
Mm-hmm.
kind of pace myself through my training, and it goes, you're gonna have phases. I basically learned it goes in phases.
Mm-hmm.
There's some phases where you are gonna push yourself all the way, but other times you're gonna have to chill out a little bit and focus on recovery.
I think that's a really strong place to start, bro. That's a good philosophy and how the overall mindset around training changed over time. And like that's what we want to be looking into here because the unrenewed mind, um, especially with how quickly things are changing in the health, the training, the nutrition, the recovery landscape, if you're not constantly updating the way that you're approaching things and learning about, you know, how things work through your own experience, you're gonna quickly get phased out. So um, I think it was very interesting point about kind of your early history leading constantly to burnout, and then how you change the mindset around it. So tell me a little bit more about like phased um, training approaches and how that kind of helped correct against you always banging against that burnout wall.
Yeah, honestly, when it came, because as you know, you've been in both as well, and that's cool because we can relate on so many things, and that's why we're
Mm,
doing the podcast today also.
yeah.
But basically, for the hockey training, I kind of let my trainers take care of the
Mm,
phases. So basically, in my summer training, the one that was the most effective by far, and shout out to Don at Core Excellence. This guy is
yes,
a,
bro.
a student of the game, even though he has
Mm,
a tremendous amount of knowledge, like he keeps learning all the time, and really interesting guy. And I basically put it all in his hands. And what I
yeah,
learned is basically that I mean I learned the phase training there basically. That's and
100%.
you know it started kind of easy at the start of the summer, and then we eased into harder training, and then we kind of peaked, maybe I forget the exact like timelines, but maybe like a month and a half before the season, and then it
Mm,
slowly went back down so
yeah.
we could let our body recover from the hard training, and then we could come
Mm.
out, strong for the start of the season. I think you trained
Yes,
at Core Excellence for a little bit too, huh?
that was like really what got me into really strong, structured, science-based training as like
Yeah.
as an athlete. And actually, you know what? I want to shout out Rich Thaw as well because he was an intern in my Core X class, and I was training with a couple pro guys that are playing now to this day. A couple of guys that played Division One hockey. We both have a hockey background. Core Excellence is a hockey factory. This place is it's still running. It's still a
It's
factory
striving.
producing. Yeah, it's
Yeah, yeah.
incredible. It's producing incredible athletes. That's our athletic foundation. Um, and the principles still apply. Don White, um, he's still learning, growing his own understanding around the whole industry. So that's good. It's good to hear, bro. That's yeah. That's both kind of. I guess I want to say where I started as well. That's when I like really first started taking training super seriously. Like these were full
Yeah.
blown season programs um, to get us in the best uh, strength and conditioning shape possible. And tell me, after Core X, kind of how did things open up? How did your understanding around training and approaching it? How did it change? Where did it lead you? Well,
Yeah. So unfortunately how it ended, and it's not because of how the training was structured, it was just kind of a um bad timing, but I got mono at the end of my first summer at Core. So I had gained weight for the first time in my life, 15 pounds, and I was like so happy I was gonna have a strong season. I was heading to BC in a really good hockey league, BCHL, and yeah, and then the mono hit me, so uh I couldn't reap all the benefits of that training. Um, but yeah, I learned a ton through the process, despite that. And yeah, like to be honest, where I learned the most about training is more like after my hockey career.
mm,
Um,
okay.
that's kind of why I'm beating around the bush right now with my answer, because it's really like through endurance that I learned how to be prepared for race day.
Mm,
Hockey, like I kind of like just was focused on recovering and making sure my nutrition was right, and then the
mm,
rest I put it all in the hands of the
mm,
professionals.
mm.
So yeah, when I was at the gym, I was just kind of like dialed, going through not going through the motions, but going through the plan that the coach set out.
Yeah, and there's
Yeah.
something to be said about that as well because there's so much more that goes into it than just putting a workout program together, right? Like outsourcing that at a young age. We're not, adults at this point when we started training. There is 12 to 16 years old, right? Um, but going to find the source, or the place where they are experts already in the field, and they've done the work that it requires to craft something that is suitable for the level of the athlete, right? Like that is such an important decision that someone can make inside of their lives. And it's not even just for us. I mean, we got lucky, we got it early, but even later, I'm constantly making these decisions where it's like, where are guys ahead of me, and who has more expertise, and who's structured and went through the process already, and how can I tap into their knowledge base and the way that their mindset around it, right? So I can, advance further quicker, right? Because we can all figure it out. We're all smart guys. Um, and I do want to talk about kind of how we got into our own trading now, because we did figure it out on our own as well. And it takes trial and error. But tell me about, getting into endurance sports, and I guess launching into a little bit of like self-manufactured strength and conditioning programs, and stuff of that nature, because I think it's interesting.
Yeah, for sure. So now I'll have more substance for the endurance part, because like
Yeah.
you said, I took
Yeah.
the matter into my own hands at
Hmm.
this point. To me, before starting endurance sports, well, triathlons more specifically, I
Hmm.
was debating between MMA. I wanted something maybe that was mental as well as physical. And then just decided to go into endurance, and turned out I thought it was purely physical, but it's actually very mental as well. And some could say it's also spiritual if we want to get into the deeper stuff. But um, so basically, yeah, how I learned to manage my my training in endurance was, again, maybe not the best way, but through burnout. Um, I would just, train as hard as I could, and saw up until where my body could push, and then I adjusted around that. That I saw was kind of like my threshold, my max at the start, and then I worked backwards. I started reading books. I would say that the biggest um, thing that I learned was the whole 80/20 approach. So the idea that 80%,
Explain that. Yeah.
yeah, so 80% of your training should be done, or while you take that approach, is recommended to be done in zone two. So that's gonna, for me, it's anywhere under 150 heart BPMs. And then the other 20% is gonna be like more VO2 max workouts. So that's gonna be in like zone 4 or 5. That's where you push yourself to the limits. And I found that that's a recipe that really works with me. And also, any change that I bring to my training has to be gradual. I have to ease into it. I can't just say, "Oh, I'm feeling good on my 25 kilometers of running per week. Let me run 40 kilometers this week." No, 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 no.
Respect.
Every time I did
Respect.
that, every time I did that, shin splints, knee pain, a bunch of little aches and pains started appearing. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's all about like easing into, whether it's changing your technique, you want to ease into it. Whether it's increasing your volume, you want to ease into it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's you gotta play the long game when it comes to that sport. It's nothing
One
too drastic.
100%. I think one of my best references is actually Christian Blumenfeld, and he
This
says
guy.
Olympic triathlete, Olympic gold medalist triathlete, one of the best triathletes in the sport, and he said there is no one key session. Right? To be
Mm,
great, it's about continuously showing up, making the deposits, respecting the process, and stacking. Whether it's mileage, um, byways of the 80/20 rule. Right? You're only able to
yeah.
accumulate more volume week over week if you're dedicating most of that time to zone two, as you mentioned, which is your aerobic zone, where it's your heart rate is in 50 to 70% of your max heart rate, right? It's
Correct. Yeah.
more conversational, less less stress overall delivered through the joints, so that you're able to kind of, it's almost like somewhat of an active recovery, but like you're still getting the heart rate adaptations, and then you're saving it for that 20% of the training where you're actually building the speed, the overall anaerobic lactate threshold work, the VO2 max work, like all out stuff. I think I learned a lot of that as well in my marathon preps. And I also banged my head against the shin splint wall from upping volume too quickly. Like in my first build, um, in my first zero to marathon build, it was on three separate occasions within 9 months. I hit shin splints twice, and I hit IT band syndrome overuse injury.
Those ones are tough.
So those
The
ones, I
IT
mean, they're
bands.
just, they come every time, right? Like it's with almost without fail. Whether it's hip impingement, it's IT band syndrome. Other areas are getting locked up, right? Knees, ankles, hips, right? It's because of overuse. We're not respecting the process, right? Trying to jump too far too quickly.
Correct. Okay, I'm just curious because I've dealt and I mean, if I dealt with it in the past, chances are I'll deal with it in the future. So I'm curious about your shin splints.
Mhm.
What are ways that you went about trying to solve that issue?
So first and foremost, it's load management. It's a load management issue. When the shin splints, act up, it's because they're not capable of withstanding the beating, for lack of a better word. They're putting them through. So first correction was reduce volume, back off. Okay, um, running volume, backing off running volume. Now, a lot of people, stop there and they're like, okay, I'm just gonna do less um, cardiovascular conditioning work. As I matured as an endurance athlete, I realized that there's cross training that can be done that gets elicits the same heart rate adaptations. So actually, in my 100-mile build, I didn't run into shin splints, but I will finish on the shin splints on it. I ran into a hip impingement, and any contact into the ground would shoot up my leg. So I was like, oh, I'm cooked. But through maturing as an athlete and understanding that you can get at the same training without actually doing the running, I was on the assault bike for 15 hours a week. Like that's the volume of heart rate training that I needed to keep progressing for the ultra, the 100-miler. But I didn't stress or overload the hip. So I was still training my heart for the race, but I took it off the method that was hurting it. So same thing goes for shin splints. I didn't do this though in my zero to marathon build in 2023. But I did invest heavily into strengthening up the calves, the lower leg muscles.
Mm,
So
yeah.
the soleus, the gastroc, the tibialis, right, the front side of the lower leg, very undertrained muscle. I would invest a lot in that. I actually bought Ben Patrick's ATG um, tib raise bar, so you can load it up and you lie with your legs out straight, and then you flick your toes back towards you, and you're training the front side of your muscle. So I was doing that a lot. Um, Also, like um, just like foot micro footwork, right? Like planting your
Mm.
foot,
Like
inversion,
like
eversion.
what about like rolling the downside of your foot on like a lacrosse ball? I've
Yes.
thought for me,
Yep.
it's hard to tell what what contributes to making the shin splints better? Because we
Mm,
often, for myself, I'm gonna do like a bunch of things to try and
mhm.
recover it. But I think that was a key player to just kind of roll my foot on the lacrosse ball. It kind of like
Yes.
boost up everything up my leg. But
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely believe you with all the calf exercises that you've done with the run that we did before your 100 miler. Guys, for the
Mm.
ones who's never seen Roberto's calves, he's one of those guys that you see like every part of the calf, like every little bit of the muscle. It's something I'm a bit jealous of.
I think it's actually the body part that I get the most compliments. I think I swear. I
Yeah.
appreciate
Oh
that
no,
though, man.
they're nice calves, man. Good for you.
Thank you, bro. Thanks. So talking about
Can
current.
I ask you a question? Because now you're bombarding me
Oh
with
yes.
questions. Now I want to.
Oh, for sure,
Uh,
bro. 100%. Yeah,
yeah.
go for
Um,
it.
we've known each other for quite a while now, but we always ramble and talk about different, health related topics, which are very interesting conversations. But tell me more about like your athletic background. Like I know you played high level hockey. You played at Hotchkiss, really good school too. And then Williams. Like, take me through that
Yes.
process. And then how did you get into those 100-mile runs? Not kilometers, guys, miles.
Yeah.
This guy's bananas.
uh, Look, I think I was investing into myself as an athlete, like through the grace of my parents' belief in me from a very young age. Like I think I was on skates since I was 2 years old, and always had like a lot of opportunities, a lot of well supported, surrounded by incredible coaches, trainers. Um, Again, we spoke on the core excellence, incredible strength and conditioning facility in Montreal. Rich Thaw, incredible strength and conditioning coach. Yvetier, I was doing Olympic lifting when I was in 14 years old.
Yves an
Um,
OG.
yes, yeah, and he's retired now, but he has dozens of professional athletes that he's coached and got them to those levels.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the influence of Daniel Sprong in my life after he came over from the Netherlands. His dad was um, a fanatic of giving his son incredible opportunities to become a professional athlete. He's still playing professional hockey. He's out in Russia now in the KHL. Played in the NHL for almost 10 years. I was closely working, training with him growing up. We did travel hockey tournaments. I was playing hockey year round, I think from 12 until 16, or maybe even younger, like 10 to 14, 15 years old, and getting the best skating coaches, shooting coaches, the coaches from the Toronto Maple Leafs were coming to train us, small groups, 2, 3, 5 kids. Um, and so, again, that opened up a lot of opportunities. I made the decision with the support of my family that going the U.S. hockey school route was the best move for me to continue to further my education. So went to Hotchkiss, did 2 years of boarding school in Connecticut, played hockey, of course, and again continued to flourish. Under really really good environments. Like that was
Yeah.
probably I would say the 2 best years of my life at Hotchkiss
At
playing
Hot.
hockey there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I,
probably.
I was curious also at Hotchkiss, like
Mm,
how is the hockey development? Because I know
yeah.
academically it's probably up, it's the top or probably the
Mm,
best one, the best grad school.
yeah. In
Not
the
a big
top,
deal.
yeah, in the top five. It's something. No, it's super strong.
But
Yeah.
how's the hockey development like over there? Was it equally as good?
Yeah, it was very solid. Coach Mike Traggio was a Division 1 athlete, a hockey player at Brown. He was the head coach. We had the assistant coach was Mark Knapp. He was Swedish. He trained a lot of professionals as well. He also ran the off ice training program for us. Yeah, overall it was very good. Obviously, Hotchkiss is a it's a breeding ground to prepare you for the next stage of your life. A lot, obviously, of the students there go on the top academic institutions. They play Division 1, Division 3 sports. That's where it led me. I got recruited to play at Williams, and 4 years of good hockey there as well. That's when I first started shifting towards what does a career after hockey look like. That's a whole nother topic of conversation. But 4 incredible years at Williams College playing the game that I love, um, surrounded by some absolute dogs, intellectual weapons. Uh, yeah, it's hockey got me into places that I had no business being in, but so I'm super grateful for that. And, I think I've been freaking going on for the last 5 minutes, but it's,
It's
it's came
perfect. I
from
never
a
heard all this,
place,
so I'm happy to hear it.
yeah, I came from a place of
It's
like
interesting.
intentional development from a very young age.
So that set the stage for endurance training, personal
Oh, yeah.
training, and now you're
Yeah.
wired in a way to optimize and always keeping a structure, and
Mm,
it built you into who you are today. So it served its purpose, even though we're not playing hockey anymore. Because when it
yeah.
ends, you're kind of like, okay, like I kind of did this for nothing. We're not playing this anymore. But when you
Yeah.
really think it through, man, like it built we built a lot of character.
Yeah.
It just made us better humans. So
Oh,
there's a lot of value.
infinitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, the value is boundless, endless. Um, how did I get into running ultra marathons? Uh, there was a time period after I had graduated from Williams and finished playing hockey. I moved to St. Petersburg, Tampa, Florida, where I was working in corporate America, if you will, leveraging my economics psych degree in the workplace, producing. But health, overall fitness was, I still had the the habits of lifting weights, mostly lifting weights. I wouldn't say I had much of like a conditioning program after hockey. I didn't really have a plan around conditioning overall. I didn't even really consider conditioning overall after I finished playing hockey, because hockey was my conditioning. So I was like, okay, well, there's a
Correct.
gap here, but there was also a blind spot for me. Like I just didn't replace it with anything. I replaced it with going to work at the office. That's what the replacement for hockey was. So I did that for 3 or 4 years, and I felt myself wearing down. Like I was slowing down. I was overall health was on the gradual decline.
How did that
Um,
manifest, like on a day to day? Was it energy levels? Was it motivation? Was it how was it really? Yeah, that.
that and
Yeah.
all of the above.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
mental health suffered. Energy was just flat. Zest for life was
Mm.
not there. Waking up tired, going to bed tired, or going to bed wired, waking up tired.
Nothing worse
Um,
than that.
no, and yeah, then something clicked in my head. I'm like, "Ugh, I don't love where this is going. I don't know. Love the way that I'm feeling. I was still getting work done and contributing to bottom line because I had the brain between my head, but the work was getting more difficult to do. I'm like, why can't I focus for long enough? Why am I having trouble like remembering things? And like I was disorganized. and I think it was all rooted in my overall health physiology was
Mm-hmm.
on the downturn. So the actual like the light switch pivot change of the guard was um doing 75 hard. I did
You did
75
that, huh?
hard. Yeah, I was like, screw this. Like, I feel like shit. Like, I gotta change something. So I ran that, got into freaking incredible shape. I always had the foundation. Like, I never lost like
Yeah.
the overall athletic build, muscle strength capability. Like, I didn't have the strength then, but I always had like this baseline that I could return back to. So once I walked in my training, nutrition, uh, mindset, stuff like that, like yeah, I got into like ridiculous shape in 2.5 months. Um, so now we're going. We can keep going,
Yeah,
but
I mean, so,
yeah,
but tell me like how that led into endurance training. So did
shit.
you?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, me too. I was like thinking for a
you
second.
got
Wait,
you
uh,
gotta keep reining me back in. No, no, it's
it's
good.
our it's the first pod. I think we're doing
Yeah.
pretty good so far.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty happy with what we've talked about so far. Let's
Yes.
just take
Yes.
a moment to appreciate that, right?
A hundred percent.
It's not gonna be perfect.
No, 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 no. It's not
But
supposed to be perfect, man. People are supposed to
no,
get to know the actual us.
exactly. So I'm bringing you back on track now, and you're gonna have to do the same with me. That's called
Yeah.
accountability, ladies and gentlemen. Uh, Tell me how you got into endurance training, endurance sport.
Yes. Yeah.
Was that in Florida?
No, it
Did you
wasn't
start
even.
running in Florida? No?
It wasn't
No?
even. No. I mean, I guess this is just like the story of Roberto Cellini at this point because
Hmm.
um, I did 75 hard. Um, I was feeling great about overall vigor, vitality, but something was still missing. I'm like, hold on, like I'm going on the right track, but the spark, the passion for the work, I'm like,
Hmm.
not didn't get me up jumping out of bed. And I'm like, if I'm gonna do something for the rest of my life, like I want that pow feeling, like that I'm really excited about what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I moved home. I started my own business. I went into deep reflection. I thought to myself, what the heck do I have to do? Or what did what do I have to do to become the man that I want to be? Okay. And after a long period of reflection, it was I have to do something that I am not good at. That's very uncomfortable for me. And that's going to shape me into the person that I want to become. So I said, what could that all be? And it was running because I had never ran in my life. I was very deconditioned at the moment. Um, and I wanted to build this character of being someone consistent, about delaying gratification, about um, setting a goal that's not like just show up and it could be done. So I signed up for a marathon 9 months in advance from never running before. And I said, oh, I'm just going to give this a rip. I sucked
Figure
at
it
it.
out.
Yeah,
You bet it on yourself. You bet
absolutely.
it on yourself, and sorry to cut you off, but to
Mm.
me, that was like a game changer after I stopped playing hockey also. Like you you're kind of like working towards something your whole life, and you got goals, you got the season coming, you got games to
Mm.
win, and it's challenge and overcoming that challenge always. And once that all ends, you're like you need that, you have that missing link. And and to me, it was signing up to a triathlon 30 days before, and I had never swum. I'd never done a triathlon. But I was like, you know
Shit.
what? My buddy and I, we just did it, and we kind of signed up. We're laughing doing it. We're like, what are we doing? But it was a statement to myself, like I'm betting on myself and I'm just gonna make it happen. And that leaks out into every part of your
Mm.
life once you achieve it. Like it becomes a stack. Alex Hormozy,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
says,
yeah,
like confidence comes from having a stack of undeniable proof. And to me, that was like post hockey,
yeah.
Ollie. It
Mhm.
was my first like, okay, like we can bet. I can bet on myself, you know. So
Dude,
it feels like it's very similar to how you kind of went about it with your marathon.
bro, I'm so glad that you shared that story, man, because I think a lot of people need to hear that. Because a lot of people are get into their lane, they get comfortable, they had the structure previously, and then they just settle into business as usual. There's
Mm.
never an outside a decision that comes from within to do something challenging that requires them to organize their lives a little bit more meticulously, push themselves out of their comfort zone physically. Like that's yeah, a third triathlon on 30 days. Bro, that's dope. That is very dope.
It was nuts. It was nuts.
Yeah,
And I think it was, yeah, it was an Olympic distance, so it was a 1.5 kilometer swim.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it was a running gag with my girlfriend. She'd always laugh at me when we'd go to like to a resort and she'd see me swim. I was one of those swimmers, you know? And then I couldn't go
Yeah,
like 20 meters too far
yeah.
because then it'd be dangerous. I'd maybe
Mm,
drown, you know? So that was really nuts, but you know, I took the necessary measures. I hired a swimming coach and
nice.
for like 5 sessions we're just like obsessing on technique.
Mm,
And then
hmm.
yeah, the race went super well. Turns out the swim part was the easiest part. So
There you go,
um
bro.
yeah, yeah. How was your first marathon?
It was a memorable experience. Uh,
Good or bad?
eh, both overall good. I um I came out gunning it. I came out. I'm like I'm gonna run a 3:30, and I set out on an 8-minute pace. And then if you see like my Strava, like it's just
Oh,
the wall at 17:18, mile
that's
17:18.
oh, that's an early time to hit the wall.
I know. And
You're talking in miles though, aren't you?
yeah, yes,
Okay,
at mile
it's
17
different.
or 18,
Okay.
hit the wall. It was also a ridiculously humid day.
Oh,
It was on the coast of Massachusetts in Hingham. It was in Hingham, Massachusetts, right on the water in September, and it was humid, and I was wearing insoles made out of plastic, and with the humidity, those soles went an inch into my arches, and and I didn't want to. I was stubborn. I'm like, I'm not taking my shoes off. I'm not stopping. I didn't stop the entire race. Like, not for water, not for to pick my
that's
ass. Like, I just
that's
kept going,
that's you're nuts, man. That's
and I was
crazy.
running on these freaking knife blades for like half the race. But it was like just a freaking test of grit and endurance, like
Mm,
in the most raw sense. Like it was just grit and endurance, and I finished in a respectable 4:02. It was a good first marathon from 0 9 months.
yeah.
That was good.
You got
Yeah,
it done. You completed it.
got it done. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It was,
that's all you want. I mean, that
yeah.
for me was all I wanted. It's at
Mm,
least for the first one. You don't go for time, you go for completion. I mean, that's how I
yeah,
go about it. And then the next time it's trying to go for time, but yeah, it's cool, man.
yeah. Let's stick with current stuff. I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to get to mitochondrial health and health paradigms.
That's
Maybe
fine.
we
We
can.
can we can do more podcasts.
Yeah, yeah. I want to stay tuned for the next one. um, though I do want to ask you about um, I guess like we could talk about like some of your recovery practices now. because I think recovery is very important for a lot of people. Like people might be uh, interested in getting into training, but
Mm.
training without proper recovery,
Yeah.
you're not going
Yeah,
to go
sure.
very far. So tell me about
Let's
kind
dive
of what
into
it's
that.
like. Yeah. What are the things that are moving the needle for you? What are the staples?
Yeah.
What's work
Yeah. Yeah.
recovery
Yeah.
wise?
So to me, um, the most important thing of all when it comes to sports, and I guess endurance sports, if you want to be more specific,
Mm.
is to be in tune with how your body is feeling.
Mm.
Like
Very nice.
I have the Garmin, I have Strava giving me recommendations. I
Mm.
have my training plan that I could technically just follow to a T,
Mm.
which I did for a while, but realized that I mean, what worked out for me is to take a hybrid approach,
Mm.
is to listen, to look at what your data is saying,
Mm-hmm.
but more importantly, to really like be in tune with how you're feeling, and because your body's gonna tell you.
Bro,
Your body
elaborate.
is,
Elaborate.
yeah,
People don't understand this. People need to hear this.
yeah,
They and I was a victim of it as well. Like, okay, I'm gonna lay
hmm,
this thing out, 100% completion, 100% intensity, and it almost never works out like
yeah,
the way that you had planned it. So tell me more about that intuition with training.
yeah. Well, basically, if I have like a training that's on my schedule that requires a lot of effort,
Mm.
and I wake up that morning and I don't feel good, I feel like shit and I'm tired and my body's aching, maybe I'm not thinking as clearly, I'm gonna put the ego aside. I'm gonna
Mm.
just really do what is right, which is to adjust that workout.
Mm.
Whether it's switching it from, if it was like a VO2 max, like high zone training,
Mm.
to switching it to zone 2,
Mm.
or maybe even taking a day off, like,
Sure.
or
Yeah.
sometimes like maybe just gonna go on the bike, like, yeah, like move my legs for maybe 20 minutes, and then maybe sometimes I'll go to hot yoga.
There we go.
That's a good one for me.
Pivoting to some
I'll
active recovery work.
Yes, exactly.
Mm.
And turns out, like, at first I would not allow myself to do that because I thought it was unproductive, or I was like, no, you just gotta push through it. Like, don't be a, you know what? And
EITCH.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I guess we can say it, huh? And yeah, I learned to kind of put the ego aside and listen to the
Yeah.
body. Like it's really not that complicated. The more
No, I know.
I do it, like, you just really got to be in tune with how you're feeling.
Yeah.
And if you're not, there physically, mentally, whatever, go take a sauna instead. Go take an ice
Mm.
bath, maybe a yoga session,
Yeah.
meditation.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. It's actually going to be more productive in the
Mm-hmm.
long run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bang on. Because a lot of the time, pride, ego are right at the front doorstep, and they don't let you close the door on them. Okay? They're just too strong, and we're conditioned as men that we can we can fight, and grit, and push, and grind, right? But like you said, like it is more productive overall to be in tune, listen to the body, and
Yeah.
pivot intelligently. Will you ever? I think. Will you ever? Okay, you. So there's a few different strategies you can take. You got a hard interval session. You wake up. You're under recovered. Um, Method one, you can downgrade. Right, you can go from VO2 to zone two, so you can keep the
Yeah.
training. Uh, Method two, you can go from VO, or you can go high intensity training down to an active recovery day. That's another method, right? Will you ever um, keep the high intensity training but reduce the volume of it? Maybe just cut the workout in half potentially. Instead of 8 by 400 meters, you'll do maybe longer warm ups and then just a shorter or fewer bouts of high
I'd
intensity
be
work.
I have not done it, but
Mm,
I'm really curious to try and see how the
mm,
body reacts. Um, yeah, I'll experiment, but no,
it's a
the
good one.
way that I've been going about it was if I'm like just a little bit more tired than I should to do that workout, um, I'll sometimes try to tough it out, but usually I'm gonna try and just turn it into like a zone two for the same
Yeah,
amount of time.
yeah,
And then if it's really bad and you know I have also other things coming up because there's life also, right? Like I'm in
yeah.
school, I'm running a business, like there's a
Hmm.
lot sometimes. So
Yeah,
sometimes it's gonna be about wiping it away that day and
yeah,
go in the sauna instead.
yeah. And will you move? Let's say you were to make the switch for a zone two training. Will you then push the higher intensity training to the following day? You keep the overall weekly
I'll
structure.
I'll just go back the next day to what was originally scheduled.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know
Now,
there's
now you
one.
probably being a trainer, you probably I'm curious to whether you want to share now or after the call to hear what you have to say about that. But yeah, I'm open
Yeah,
to
like
recommendations.
the weekly structure is important. Obviously, like the training on the day prior is going to influence your readiness for the next one. Like it could compromise. Example, if you had done like a heavier leg day the day the day before, and then you position a high intensity run, that's I mean just not wise programming on like on a weekly split view. Um, but I think if you are driven and ambitious and working towards a race that you put on the calendar, uh, uh, something that you want to strive to achieve physically, um, it is important to, yes, adjust on the day, but try to keep the the whole weekly, you know, distribution intact, right? Not
Mm,
but there is something to be said like okay, maybe a week you do have to back off if HRV is suffering, if
yep.
overall sleep quality and quantity is reduced, like you might have to go from 80-20 to 90-10. That's an adjustment that is very real that could be made. um, so I think it's good to hear your perspective on that as well.
Yep. Thanks for the feedback. I'm gonna keep that in mind
Yeah.
next time I
um,
wake up feeling tired, which often happens, you know, with school and all the life obligations. So
mm,
keep you posted on that one.
what I think this is probably gonna be the last question. um, what I guess what are some of the things that you're doing to not avoid kind of like poor recovery, but like trying to promote good recovery? Like, what are some of the things that you're doing every day that give you the best chance to recover?
Okay, that's a good one, but it's a multifaceted one.
Okay, break it down from the
Um,
top, and then we can go into each one if we have time.
yeah, well, I'll often use the five pillars of Peter Attia because good recovery, I think, just ties into to everything. Everything is
Yeah,
interconnected. And like
yeah.
to me, good recovery is sleep,
Mm.
you know, good nutrition, it's emotional health.
Ooh, yep.
Yeah, it's exogenous molecules, so that's you know, supplements, and yeah, that's pretty much. And the other one is physical training. So obviously
Yeah.
that's at the core. But um, to me, like something that
Imperative.
I've just focused on a lot lately is my sleep,
Yeah.
and I think it's at the cornerstone of health.
Mm-hmm.
Like if there's one thing that you want to focus on first, in my opinion, like uh, we're always talking about the one thing as if you just do that, everything. No,
I know.
it's really important. It's not the one thing, but just
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
focus on it. It's really
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
And to me, like, because what I realize is it's not so much about, at least for myself, but I think it's pretty backed by science. Like, uh, it's not just about the hours of sleep, like the volume of sleep that you have, but it's more about the consistency of like your circadian rhythm.
Yep. Yep. And
So,
that's gonna give the depth and the correct architecture.
yeah,
The consistency is the cornerstone of correct architecture. And if you're structured in a way that your body is anticipating what it should be doing at certain hours of the day, it's going to lead to deeper sleep in the beginning. It's going to give proper REM cycles, and obviously you want to be minimizing wake activities, right? Wake events throughout the course of the night. And I mean, yeah, sleep can be. I mean, I like the paradigm, the five pillars by Tia. That's a good framework to think
yeah.
about recovery for sure. Sleep, the number one uh, soundbite that I love around sleep is become a PhD in sleep, meaning go so deep in understanding how to
Oh yeah,
optimize your sleep because the
yeah.
ROI, it
It's
can be quantified.
crazy.
Like it's actually
Yeah.
like a meme coin that's blowing up on Twitter. Like it's so ridiculously high because you sleep every day, and like it's your recovery chamber and like of everything. So yeah,
Mm.
optimizing sleep is man. I mean, we could do a whole podcast on that.
Yeah, and obviously that's something I learned through like all my readings and the numerous podcasts that I've listened to,
Mm,
but um to me like the main things that I do, and I'm curious to hear about yours, like the practices that you adopted to ensure that your sleep is good and nailed down. Um like the big
yeah,
ones for me is to not eat about 3 hours before bed. Like that has been like a big
yeah,
game changer. And thanks to Whoop, I wear the Whoop wearable for about 3 years,
yeah.
and that was like the main thing that when I did it, my HRV was better, like my resting heart rate
Really,
was lower, and it was a big game changer. So uh, to me that's a big one. And then blue light.
yeah,
If I'm on my phone, whether it's scrolling or even just looking at screens, whether it's, I like to watch hockey and the Habs play, like I'm gonna feel different the next morning if I was exposed to a screen right before bed. So I try to avoid that and just kind of like read a book instead,
big
and then
time.
it sets the tone when you wake up just for the rest of the day. Everything, you're just gonna feel better overall. So
Yeah,
yeah, become a PhD. Oh man, that's good.
yes, yeah, man. Bro, we covered a lot of great topics. Is there one thing that you want to wrap up with saying?
It's been fun. First
It has.
podcast.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah,
been really good overall.
let's go. Yeah.
All right, so just to clean outro this, if this conversation resonated with you, it's probably because you already know that your body is one of your most valuable assets and it deserves the same level of strategy you give to your career. If you got value from this episode, share it with someone, another high performer who's ready to stop guessing and start operating with intention. And as always, protect your energy, build capacity, and play the long game. Thanks so much, bro.
Wow, that was good. That was good. That was fun, man. Let's do another one.
Yes. Fucking 53 minutes, baby. Boom. And we got in a good flow, bro. We got in a great flow.